Chapter 1. Xantippus can't use a lion either. Have you lost your minds completely? Xantippus snapped at his pupils. By Jupiter and all of the immortal gods, what am I supposed to do with a slave? After contending with you the whole day long, I'm glad at last to be alone and have a little peace when evening comes. Or maybe you want to play a trick on me. 1,000 cats on your backs, he threatened, and cast a suspicious look at the slave cowering, motionless, on a chair in the background. The boys were hurt. They thought Xantippus would be delighted with the slave. Instead, he was snarling at them. So that was their thanks for having saved their pocket money for months to give their teacher something extra nice for his 50th birthday. Xantippus's real name was Zantus, a well-known mathematician. He was in great demand as a tutor for the sons of rich Roman patricians. Because he was expensive and exclusive, he had at present only 7 pupils. These were Mucius, Caius, Publius, Julius, Flavius, Rufus, and Antonius. They all lived on the Esquiline Hill, where many rich senators kept luxurious villas. The boys had given Xanthos the nickname Xantippus because he reminded them so much of Xantippe, the wife of the world-renowned Greek philosopher Socrates, who is said to have soured her husband's life with her ceaseless nagging. Xantippus soured his pupils' lives. He was a crabby, hard taskmaster, and he was rarely satisfied. Today, once again, he was showing his blackest side. The boys had been so proud of their slave idea that they had brought him along to school this morning. They had even gone so far as to buy him a new tunic. The lessons began before sunrise, and now they were sitting at their desks, tired and confused and not knowing what to say. Outside, dawn was glowing faintly. The streets were empty. A few carts pulled by mules and stacked high with lemons and oranges rumbled over the bumpy cobblestone streets in the direction of the farmers' market at the Tiber River. Somewhere in Sabura, the district where the poor lived, a rooster crowed. From a distance, behind Vimino Hill, where the Praetorian Guard had their barracks, the provocative call of a military reveille blared from a trumpet. Then it was still again. Only the wind could be heard rustling in the cypresses on the field of Mars. Mucius, look alive, Xantippus said. Will you please explain to me what I'm to make of these monkey shines with the slave? Mucius was the first in the class and responsible for quiet and order. The thing is this, Master Xanthos, he cautiously began. We'd settled by a toss. We'd settled through unanimous conviction that you could really use a slave. After all, you have so much to do. And besides, in your free time, you work on your important study of acute angles in the obtuse angled triangle. We thought a slave could do your shopping, tidy up, keep a lookout in the classroom at night so that you aren't burglarized again like last year, and maybe even cook for you. Maybe he could write my mathematical studies too, Xantippus snapped. No, my friends, many thanks. A slave would give me nothing but trouble. I'd have to go to the city collector to sign the contract of sale, which would cost me a handsome fee. Then I'd have to go to another office to have him tattooed with my personal coat of arms, which again would cost a fee. Finally, there's a high tax to pay every year for owning a slave. Slaves are for the rich. I can spend my paltry bit of money on better things. Antonius offered. I was against the idea of giving you a slave from the beginning, Master Xanthos, he beamed with pride. Well, it's a refreshing change to hear something so reasonable come from your mouth, Antonius. Antonius went on with excitement. Isn't it? I was going to give you a lion. What did you say? Xantippus glowered at him, but that didn't stop Antonius. Once he got going, there was no stopping him. He always had the wackiest ideas. He saw ghosts and monsters everywhere. Not only that, he even claimed this was the reason Rome crawled with thieves and cutthroats. Of course, a lot of escaped slaves were running around free, and so were gangs of rebel gladiators, who sometimes killed innocent citizens just for the fun of it. They often broke into houses too, plundering them and setting them afire. A lawless time had swept over Rome. Did I hear you correctly, Antonius? You wanted to give me a lion? That's right, Master Xanthos. My father knows a Numidian prince who wanted to sell a lion because he needed the money. He just wanted 2,000 sesterces, and he was going to throw in a cage, too, for nothing. My father bought the lion to donate to the amphitheater so they can put him in one of the clowning matches, but I could have gotten him for less from my father. I can't use a lion either, Xantippus said. Or is this just a humane way of yours for getting rid of me? Antonius protested this. Oh no, he said. He's completely domesticated. The prince is a friend of my father's. I used to visit him all the time and play with Ramesses. The lion's name is Ramesses. He doesn't bite. He was raised by humans from the time he was small. It's just that sometimes he will thrash his paws at you, so they keep his nails clipped. Other than that, he's as good-natured as a house cat. But nobody has to know that. With a lion in the classroom, you can be assured there won't be any thieves breaking in. I wouldn't come in either, Xantippus said. Too bad we didn't go ahead and get the lion, Publius whispered to Rufus. Antonius was about to streak ahead with another long anecdote about the lion, but Xantippus shut him up. Enough is enough, he said. Although I would rather have had a lion than a slave. He took another long look at the slave, who sat motionless on the chair. He was about 17, and he seemed big and strong for his age. He had brown hair and blue eyes. The boys knew he had been captured in Gaul by Roman soldiers. Where did you pick up the young ruffian, Mucius? Xantippus asked. We bought him from a slave trader named Callan. Xantippus was astonished. You bought him? I thought you simply brought him from home. Oh no, said Mucius. Callan has his shop at the Forum Boarium, though it's just a rundown shack. It's on the Tiber River, where the shipyards and granaries are. He didn't have many slaves in stock, I'm afraid. He went to get one from a pit, leaving behind a couple of other slaves who were just sitting there waiting on their pallets of straw. Callan led this one up to show us, pulling him along by a rope. We liked him a lot. Callan said his name was Udo. Udo looked healthy and strong, so we bought him. We wanted you to have nothing but the best, Master Xanthos. A good slave is as hard to find as a tooth in a hen, Julius chimed in. Please spare me your witty sayings, Xantippus pleaded, turning back to the young slave. Hey, you there, what part of the world do you come from? Udo didn't speak or move. It seemed as though he hadn't even heard. He's deaf and dumb, Publius said. We wouldn't have gotten him so cheaply otherwise. By Archimedes, that's a good one. Not only do you bring me a slave, but you also saddle me with one who's deaf and dumb. We went around to several other traders first, Julius said. A slave in reasonably good condition costs at least 20 gold pieces. That's almost 2,000 sesterces. We didn't have that much. What did you wind up paying? We'd saved 500 sesterces, Mucius said. Udo was a lucky bargain. We got him for 450. For some mysterious reason, Callan wanted to get rid of him as quickly as he could. 450 sesterces? Were all the Furies at work on you? What were you thinking to give out so much money for me? But today's your 50th birthday, the boys shouted, as if in one voice. What? My 50th birthday? Xantippus appeared amazed. Where did you get that? Oh, simple, Julius replied. We went to the Apollo Library and asked Scribinus, the head librarian, for advice. He was very friendly and recommended a Greek book to us on famous mathematicians. The book gave your biography. It was almost 2 pages long. Yes, I know, Xantippus said, and he relaxed a little. An excellent piece of work, Alexis did, incidentally. Go on, Julius. It said in the biography that you were born in 723 in Athens. This is the 11th of September, and the year is 773. So, figuring out that you are 50 was child's play. He added this last triumphantly. To the boundless astonishment of his students, Xantippus suddenly began giggling into his beard. Only once in a blue moon did he laugh. He said, with all due respect to your arithmetic, Julius, I'm sorry I can't say the same for your intelligence. Julius was wounded. Why not? It's flattering, of course, to know you think I'm only 50. Unfortunately, that day came and went a long time ago. But that's impossible, Flavius cried. We saw it in black and white in the book. Julius suddenly exclaimed, I've got it. This writer Alexis had it wrong. My good fellows, he didn't have it wrong in the least, Xantippus said. You have it wrong. You aren't considering that is a Greek book. In a Greek book, all of the dates are Greek dates. I covered all that with you in history class recently. Again, that proves you never pay attention. The Romans begin their years with the founding of Rome, and Greeks theirs with the Olympiad, which was 22 years earlier. Thus, according to Roman time, I wasn't born in 723, but in 701. Xantippus called sharply, Caius, what did you get if you subtract 701 from 773? Plenty, Caius mumbled. The boys laughed. Sometimes Caius was just too dumb. Quiet, Xantippus roared. If you're going to laugh every time Caius says something stupid, you won't have any time left to learn. From 701 to 773 is 72, Flavius called out proudly. He'd even figured it out in his head. Not bad, my son, Xantippus said. Therefore, I'm not 50 today, but 72. So you've gone to all that expense for nothing. Return the slave to Callan at once and demand your money back. And for the future, I decline all gifts, slaves, lions, or anything else. By the way, I'm giving you the rest of the day off, he added with a nervous cough. He immersed himself in a roll of papyrus. For him, the matter was settled. Thank you, Master Xanthos, the boys shouted in chorus. They leapt from their seats in delight and packed up their schoolbooks. We must admit we made a mistake in getting you a slave, Mucius offered politely. A real mistake, the others agreed. Little did they know it was not merely a mistake, but a disastrous error that would nearly cost them their lives.